exact replica, except for the server names and IP addresses, an exact replica of what we built in Denver. It's good for production, so if you wanted to come up and run, we would fully support this in production. But being so fast and efficient, it's also, you know, the absolute cheapest and fastest way to bring up a sandbox, a training environment. If you're thinking about an upgrade and you want to let your users play around with 9.1, right? This is the latest and greatest. This is, I'm sorry, Enterprise 9.0 Update 1, and we've even got Update 2 in there, planned for the next set of templates. You know, so we're trying to keep current. The infrastructure that this runs on would be similar to what Tim just. What did I do? I did. Okay. Is your light flashing before your eyes? The infrastructure that this would run on would be very similar to this. It's x86 hardware. As a matter of fact, each one of these, what IBM calls partitions. Isn't that cute? They just can't let go of the old terminology. It's a we call it, you know, it's a virtual machine, but you know, virtualization was invented like 30 years ago, 50 years ago, right? But each one of these partitions is that Oracle VM template. So this is exactly how they tested that box. The minimum requirements to bring the templates up is 4 virtual CPUs. And in general, it's possible to overcommit the CPUs, but in general, a virtual CPU will match up to a core, a CPU core. So we're talking about a quad core, right? Or 2 dual core machines. It could be all on one machine, or it could be spread out into a pool of hardware. Oracle VM doesn't care.
And I think the other thing is the amount of time, I mean, the reason for doing it, I mean, I think everybody knows the benefits of virtualization, but that time to install, what we're trying to do is we're trying to put consulting companies out of business. Sorry. But the goal is really, because we know different people can say, hey, it takes, we got a lot of people from parts of the world who said, we can't put your product in under 2 weeks. You know, there's all this technology I have to put down, I have to put down your E1 stuff, I have to configure it all. And they said, why can't you guys just give us something that's kind of pre-built, ready to go with the technology in it? And then, you know, three days here is generous. Like, we do have people and consultants and people internally who can put these up in hours. Yeah. And it really is just to get you past all of that installation cost. So, and then once you have them, you can move them around and turn them on and turn them off and do all the rest of the virtual.
Yeah, we had a target of 3 days from bare metal to having JD Edwards up and running. And after we put this out, you know, the first time to customers, there was a little bit of a learning curve with Oracle VM. You know, almost everybody had some experience with VMware. So the concept of virtualization was already there, but the practice of Oracle VM versus VMware was a little bit of a learning curve, but by and large, everybody was able to do it well under 3 days. And the second, third, fourth times through, you know, just a matter of hours. And I'm talking, you know, to do it from scratch. Once the files are in place, the templates, the act of spawning new JD Edwards servers is more like minutes. As a matter of fact, one of Tim's guys has got it down to 17 minutes. Right? You copy the file over from like a library, they call it the server pool, and put it into a running pool, and that makes it a live server. It boots up just like a machine. So very efficient way of spawning JD Edwards instances. Yes?
Any chance of building that under competitors' VM?
Not likely from our team. No.
Yeah, the biggest thing, the one other major issue around virtualization for us, VMware and otherwise, is giving somebody an operating system from a licensing standpoint can't be done. I mean, if we built even Windows guests, we couldn't, you know, it's a real tough thing that we've not really been able to work around because we own the enterprise Linux inside these. You know, VMware, everybody in the room probably is doing something with it. There might be some partners who will do it, but if they did it with your version of Windows, it wouldn't be a problem. We just couldn't give you one.
Yeah, by now, like it's Thursday, right? Almost noon, and are you sick of hearing the complete open integrated story yet, or the hardware software complete story yet? Right? It's a lot of marketing, but look at what it's done for us, right? We've always been kind of for years pursuing this invasive preload, pre-configure, rapid install type of thing, and now as being part of Oracle, we've got operating system in the form of Oracle Linux. We can distribute that. We've got a virtualization product in Oracle VM. We can distribute that. We've got middleware and database from Oracle, obviously, with Fusion Middleware and Oracle Database. We've got the applications in JD Edwards. So I can put the entire stack in a virtual machine and give it to you as you know, one licensable product from Oracle. Not a single license, but everything, you know, can come from one thing. I can't do that with Microsoft. I can't do that with other competitive products. So it's certainly, technologically, it's possible to build that template thing, you know, with VMware and Windows Guests and all, but it's not going to come from us. And you know, as Tim alluded to too, you know, that Rapid Eye, the Solution Edition, you know, one of the key charms of JD Edwards, we are always looking for ways not to put partners out of business, but to eliminate unnecessary cost from the whole thing. We really want to be that low total cost of ownership choice. And this is a good way to do it, and we're pursuing the same kind of goals with that Solution Edition on the IBM i. And so we're looking for a way to, you know, since the LPAR and the virtualization is so good on the i, do something very similar to this. So hoping to come out with that pretty soon. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Tim.
All right, so we've talked about technology and we've talked about platforms, and again, we'll continue to push why get current. And we live in the world of tools, and I live in the world of what we call PSR, and this is kind of an Oracle term, but it's really around performance, scalability, and reliability. Everything we're trying to do with our products, WebTier, Logic, E1, you know, in general, is really getting around, you know, this, you know, making sure that the performance is good. It doesn't matter if it's through the user interface, it doesn't matter if it's through batch, EDI, or XML, or web services, you know, these are all parts of our core product now. You know, we work with customers and go through support things, but what we try to do before we even ship the product is make sure that it performs and that it scales and that it's, you know, reliable.